My name is Mana, and this isn't a fairy tale. It's a story of struggle, rejection, and a dream that refused to die. I still remember the small, broken house where I grew up. The walls leaked when it rained, and the nights were cold enough to make your bones ache. My father worked day and night, yet we barely survived. People around us said, "You can't change your destiny." But deep inside, I believed maybe I could. I wasn't born lucky. I didn't have money, beauty, or influence. What I did have was hunger not just for food, but for something bigger. I used to sit on the rooftop at night and promise myself, one day, I'll make something out of this nothing. When I was 17, I failed my first big exam. Everyone laughed. They said, "She's just like her family meant to stay poor." For days, I cried in silence. But then, something changed. I realized no one was coming to save me. If I wanted a better life, I had to build it with my own hands. So I started small. I sold handmade crafts at the market. Sometimes I earned a few coins, sometimes nothing at all. But every morning, I woke up with one belief: consistency beats talent. Even when it rained, even when my friends gave up, I showed up. People thought I was wasting my time. But those little moments, those tiny steps were shaping me. I learned how to talk to strangers, how to sell, how to fail, and how to start again. Years passed. I saved every coin I could. Then one day, I saw an opportunity, an online business course. It cost more than what I had, but I took the risk. I worked extra hours, skipped meals, and paid for it. That course opened a new door for me, the world of digital business. I started learning how people build empires from their phones. I studied late at night, watched free videos, and wrote down every note. There were times I wanted to quit. The internet seemed too big, too complicated. But each time I doubted myself, I remembered the little girl sitting on the rooftop, dreaming of something more. And then, something magical happened. One of my handmade designs, the same kind people used to ignore, went viral online. Orders started coming in from cities I had never heard of. I didn't sleep for days, packing and shipping every product myself. My hands ached, but my heart was alive. Success didn't come like a storm. It came like the mornings, slow, quiet, and full of lessons. When my small business started to grow, people around me changed. Some who once laughed at me now wanted to be part of my journey. Others said, "You're just lucky." But I knew it wasn't luck. It was the 1,000 days no one saw. The nights I cried silently while everyone slept. The times I worked with empty stomachs and tired hands. With every order I shipped, I felt a little stronger. I started hiring 2 girls from my neighborhood, girls just like me, who once thought they had no chance. Together we worked from a small room, surrounded by boxes, laughter, and dreams. It wasn't a factory, it was a seed of purpose. But life doesn't let you rise without testing your strength. One day, a supplier cheated me. I lost nearly everything I had saved. Orders were delayed. Customers got angry. My small business started collapsing, and once again, people said, she was never meant to succeed. That week, I locked myself in my room. I couldn't sleep. My mind kept whispering, "You failed again." But deep down, a stronger voice replied, "No, I'm not done yet." I stood up again. I called every angry customer personally, apologized, and promised refunds or replacements. I worked day and night to rebuild what I had lost. It was painful, but it made me fearless. And then came the breakthrough. A well-known blogger featured my products, calling my story the spirit of pure hustle. Within days, my page exploded with messages and orders. My little brand, the one born out of rejection and pain, suddenly had thousands of followers and a real identity. Months later, I opened my own studio. The girl who once couldn't afford to buy paper now employed 20 women. I looked around and realized something powerful. I didn't just build a business, I built hope. When people ask me how I did it, I smile and say, by failing more times than I can count. Because success doesn't start when people clap for you. It starts when no one is watching, when you fight your battles alone and still choose to move forward. Now, when I walk into my studio every morning, I touch the same old table I started with, the one full of scratches, memories, and late night tears. It reminds me of who I was and how far I've come. I don't own everything in the world, but I own something far greater: the belief that you can turn nothing into everything if you refuse to give up. And that, my friends, is my story. I am Mana, the girl who started with nothing and built her own everything.